Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
A new strategic plan from the Postal Service Office of Inspector General is out. The 5-year plan comes during a turbulent time for the agency with tight budgets and a dire need for efficiency. The IG's office hopes to help with that by making a few updates to its mission. To learn more, we welcome Postal Service IG Tammy Hull. Ms. Hull, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Eric. Glad to be here.
What does this plan actually contain, and how did it come together? I know that you are required by law to provide this kind of plan, but how do you all plan to utilize it going forward?
The plan is basically our high-level blueprint on how we plan to move forward over the next few years. You can see if you go back and look at our old strategic plans, we've updated our mission to include some of our new responsibilities and also to define our overall purpose a little more clearly, which is promoting the integrity, accountability, and efficiency of the United States Postal Service and its regulator, the Postal Regulatory Commission. The Postal Reform Act of 2022 expanded our oversight mission to include the PRC, so we added that into our strategic plan. It also includes our vision, describes how we plan to meet our mission, pursuing innovative oversight to advance the value of the U.S. Postal Service for all. And then it addresses our values, our key values: respect, impact, innovation, and resilience. I think resilience is really critical in the time that we're in right now, and we emphasize that in our strategic plan. And then it lays out our 3 main goals: promoting efficiency, effectiveness, and transparency of postal operations, foster integrity by detecting and preventing fraud, waste, and abuse in postal programs, and then finally pursuing excellence through developing our people and advancing innovations. We created, the entire executive team was involved in creating this strategic plan from the beginning to the end. I want to give a big shout out to our planning and special projects team. They helped us with that. They kind of led the way, and they're a great little tiny team in our front office, and they brought it on this. So I really appreciate what they did. I think the challenge in a strategic plan is you spend some time and you come up with really good thoughts and ideas, and you incorporate it into a plan. The challenge is in executing the plan, right? And sticking to kind of those key values and objectives and goals that we've laid out. The Postal Service, as you mentioned, is in the midst of a great deal of change. And so oversight of that change is really important for us right now.
Was there any difficulty in formulating the plan? As you mentioned, there are so many changes going on at the agency. Was there a worry of coming up with the plan taking too long and changes occurring that needed to be incorporated in the plan, and then you're just kind of stuck in this cycle? Was that at all a concern for the executive team?
Probably we thought about that as we went through. I think the strategic plan is at a high enough level that the concepts are translatable regardless of where the Postal Service is in their plan. I think one of the things that you see in this plan that has been emphasized over our prior plan is an increased focus on transparency, and in our oversight mission, which encompasses transparency, we wanted to focus on providing transparency into the changes the Postal Service is making as they impact the American public. If you look back on our prior strategic plan, it was released right after the Postal Service released its Delivering for America plan. So we weren't really at that time quite sure what this was going to look like. I think clarity is coming has additional clarity has occurred since that initial plan was released. And so it was a little bit easier probably at this point to put together the strategic plan than it was 3 years ago when we did our last strategic plan.
We're speaking with Tammy Hull, the Postal Service Inspector General, and I want to harp on one of the things that you also mentioned that seemed to be a key aspect of the added missions, and that is innovative ways to regulate the Postal Service. What sort of innovative ways can you tell us that are coming down the pipeline as far as where your role is? Are you going to be using new tools to make sure that all these moves are transparent, or what do you all mean by innovative?
One of the things that you can see if you go out to our website is how we're really looking at different ways to provide transparency into postal operations and to use 21st century technology to showcase that. We do things like telling our reports using stories, visual storytelling, and using the internet to do that for us in ways that we hadn't done before. So using technology has always been a key focus of ours. And this strategic plan, you can see innovation throughout it and our focus on innovation. We have an incredibly strong Office of Chief Information Officer, our CIO office, and our data analytics staff are just really good. And in the tools that are out there now are very relevant in the oversight mission. We also have a very strong, small but mighty research team that tackles some really interesting issues that are kind of unique to the Postal Service. And so telling those stories in unique ways on our website is something that we're very focused on. And you can see that throughout our strategic plan on how we use innovation.
Yeah, I actually do have to agree with you on that. I mean, as somebody who has to look at almost every Inspector General website, the audits that you all do, they are written up sort of in an article manner almost. The titles are different. It's not just straightforward like the other Inspector General's office. Is that part of what you're hoping to increase more of to kind of engage folks that are interested in this?
Very much so. I think we do our best to make our work as accessible as possible. We have the interesting mission of conducting oversight for an agency that touches every household every day in every business. So we want to make our work as accessible as the mail is to the people that use it. And so it's really important for people to be able to understand our work.
All right. And you said the hard part is going to be actually implementing the strategy. Can you just give us, your first couple steps? Is there a cultural aspect to things and how you want to update your office's mission? What is going to be your first couple of moves there?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really excited about in this version of our strategic plan is our focus on the employees. We've always focused on our employees, but it hasn't been nearly as clear in our strategic plans as it should be. We're only as good as the people that we have that engage, and we've got great people that are very, very engaged. And so we owe them the focus on their work, what they need, and how they need to have a good balance in their lives so that they can engage. I tell our people, when you're here, we want all of you, but when you leave, we want you to be able to not be engaged. When you're at the end of your day, we want you to have a very full life outside of this office because that makes you better when you're here.
Postal Service Inspector General Tammy Hull, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Eric. Great to be here.
And you can find this interview along with a link to the report at federalnewsnetwork.com. You can also subscribe to the Federal Drive wherever you get your podcasts.